Hello everyone, this is Denise. Today I want to do a new project because I have a new class that's come out called Master Mark-Making Like Klimt, 60 Art Prompts for Mixed Media class. And so what we've done is, this is kind of a little adder class onto the Klimt Master Study that I put out. And we are going to make, in that class, art prompt cards with prompts inspired by Gustav Klimt. So we're going to act like we are the Master Klimt. So for instance, lines of gold. Add fine, delicate gold lines to highlight specific areas of your abstract painting. So, you know, if we look at Klimt's paintings, which I happen to have the book right here. This is the Gustav Klimt Complete Paintings book by Taschen. It's my favorite book because it's so big and I can see what's going on in these paintings. And you can tell, like, from a lot of the paintings he did. This is the Kiss. He uses a lot of gold. He uses a lot of circles in repetition. He uses pattern on top of pattern with more pattern in there. He uses some color kind of edged in, silver, also other metallics. And when we did the master study last year, we studied some of the pieces of his paintings and then figured out, like, how can we use the mark making that we see in his paintings in our own work. And so this was a delightful master study, and we studied it in such a way that we weren't trying to replicate whole paintings, but we were looking for tiny sections in the paintings that we could get a little closer and study. Like, this is my little square from this area right here, and it's much less intimidating and easier to pick a little section and say, okay, let me study this piece and then see how I can use that in my work going forward. So I thought, you know, it's been a year since I made this class, and it still is my very favorite master. I still love coming back and looking in his pieces and looking close and saying, oh wow, look at this detail here that I never saw before, and just kind of figuring out, like, how can I take some of the things that he's done into my own work. But the further you get from a master study, the more you forget, and then you kind of just get to the point where you're like, oh no, I need to start adding some of that back into my work that I loved so much. And I thought this class would be the perfect companion to this master study. And you don't have to have taken this class to use these prompts either, because I'll give you the words and then I'll give you a little prompt on the back to kind of guide you. Metallic mosaic. Use small metallic or gold squares in your collage and mark making to mimic a mosaic effect. And that piece that I just showed you is exactly that prompt. Right here we have little mosaic pieces. So in this piece I kind of recreated that in my messy style, but it's little mosaic of different colored metallic squares, and so it comes right out of his piece, and it's a prompt that we can pull from and immediately think, aha, that's what that means. But you can also interpret some of these prompts in a way that works for you. Golden spirals. Create spirals in gold, blending metallic elements with watercolor or acrylic to highlight their shine. So all through Klimt's work, we see spirals of gold and different ways that he uses those in his different pieces. And so spirals in the tree of life there. And then, so I want to study, like, the different ways that he's used these spirals and the different pieces that he's done. And how can we do that in our own work? Look, circles, spirals. Where's that page I wanted? Some close-ups of the tree of life there. I'm looking for the kiss, which I just missed. I just misplaced in here. Lots of stuff to look at and be inspired by. All the circles, the spirals, different things that he does here in his work. The spirals, the gold. Where are we? The painting that I want. Ooh, look at this one. Even closer of that Adele Blockbauer one, we can see the prolific use of circles and triangles and metallic, more swirls. So you can see getting in closer to a piece. The mosaic up here that we can see. You can definitely see getting closer to the piece. There we go, the kiss. Spirals, circles. He's got some very definite marks and repetition of the marks that we can learn and grow from. So in this class, I have created 60 prompts. And then when you create your big painted piece and then cut it apart to create our little cards, you can pick and choose the prompts that kind of speak to you. So I've given you extra, and then let's say you make a deck of 40 cards, pick the 40 cards that you like the most. Dreamlike circles, circular repetition. And then not only do I give you the prompt, but I give you kind of what that prompt means. And what's really fun on these is you can paint a big piece, cut it apart, and then whatever prompt you decide to use that card for, you can create that prompt on that card. So you also have like a visual representation of what the prompt is to kind of spur you on in your art. So this is a fun little bonus class. And so I thought I would do a couple of pieces using the prompts to get us started. I pulled a color card to be inspired by, and I'm going to pull some colors from my Kuretake mica set, my Kuretake, Art Nouveau set, and we're kind of flanking a handmade paper. This is one of the handmade journals, and because I'm so determined to fill it up, it's just easier to go ahead and say, okay, let's paint all the pieces I plan to paint in this book, and then it'll get there. And this is the book that I've already done a ton of paintings in. A lot of these were inspired by the book by Rebecca Leach, which I've been working my way through, the abstract watercolor book. I love this book. It also is very heavy on mark making ideas and watercolor skills and different projects to do. And what better thing than a Klimt kind of project. So I thought this would be perfect for this book because I can work in prompts and kind of continue on with this book now that I've done doing all the exercises in that book. And I can keep on with my mindful exercises, but making them kind of Klimt inspired with the different things, because all of this kind of thing lends itself to some of the art prompts that we have in this class. And so I thought we would use it and paint it and just see how am I going to work this into my own art. So I pulled a color palette because that's what I like to do. So 19 Potter's Pink, and this kind of looks like that, maybe not exact, but it's close. 304 Alizarin Crimson. This is the Art Nouveau set that I'm pulling these out of, and I'm just going to stick with this one set for this painting because I think it's got enough choices. 303 Mauve Taupe, and then we've got a peach here. So even though I just said I was going to stick to this one, well, we do have an orange. Let's go ahead with this orange, and I could save some of this for mark making. So if it's not exact, I'm not worried about it. 402 Mars Yellow, so that's pretty close. And I'm missing that peach. I could make that a tan just cause it's a peachy tan. I can see peachy tones in here. I just use a color palette to propel me to a start because that's 406 Beige. I'm just going to use that one. It's close. It gets me to a start. It gets us going in a direction so I don't get hung up on what colors do I even start with. And I think I can pull this with some mark making. Okay, so that's going to be my color palette. That's the Art Nouveau Kuretake set. And let's just look at these. And so with a prompt, prompt deck, you can look at these and be inspired by a prompt for the day, like golden spirals. Definitely using that. So you can kind of look through these and any of the ones that kind of speak to you. Let's do this abstract leaves. You know, this would be perfect if I wanted, which I'm not going to do on this one, but just to kind of show you, one of the exercises that I've done has been abstract leaves. So perfect kind of page to do for that kind of prompt, and very Klimt-esque in the tree design there. If you don't have that book, Creative Abstract Watercolor, you're missing out. It is my favorite book for ideas and some of that fun stuff, mark making, and let's see, what else do we got in here that we want to use? Kind of, let's see, dream garden, mark making, forest, stenciled abstract. We could use some stencil work on here, but I don't think I'm going to. Color, contrast, chaos. Pick 2 bold contrasting colors and layer them with random chaotic marks to create a sense of movement. I mean, I've really put a lot of thought into these prompts, pretending I am the mark making master, Klimt. Golden highlights, but I think I'm going to keep the golden spirals there. Swirling motifs, flowering shapes. Ooh, if you're into botanicals and stuff, that would be a good one. Let's see, pattern play. Let's pull pattern play. Okay, so I've got about 45 cards here. I've given you 60 prompts in this class. I've given you the prompt. I've given you an idea of what that prompt kind of brought up for me. Oh, let's pull out circular repetition, because that way, you know, this is a good example of one idea is lots of circles, and another idea is do concentric circles with a pattern to fill each one, which, let me tell you, exactly this idea right here, which I feel like, you know, the Creative Watercolor book just knew. Oh, here's another one, concentric circles. So it's already something I enjoy doing, and then there's 2 different ways to kind of interpret that, or you could probably even think of more ways to interpret that, but I'm kind of thinking circular repetition, pattern play, which is fill your page with intricate repeating patterns inspired by nature or geometry. So I like pattern play, circular repetition, golden spirals, create spirals in gold, blending metallic elements with watercolor or acrylic to highlight their shine. So we know Klimt likes swirly things. And abstract leaves. So I've kind of drawn some leaves on here. The abstract leaf painting I showed you is another one. Or you could read the back here and create abstract botanical shapes, layering organic lines with mix of watercolor and acrylic for depth. So I've given you an idea. There's other ways to interpret these. And this class, I give you 60 prompts to get you started, and I'm going to paint an abstract because I'm obsessed with these little abstracts right now, but there's definitely lots of different ways that you can paint and be inspired by your prompts, and especially that book. That book is right up the alley for painting ideas and stuff that are Klimt inspired, because it's all about pattern, and you can then, you know, continue on with the studying of a master if you did that study with me last year and then kind of just got stuck and didn't keep using the stuff in your work later. I know we tend to just go back to favorite things that we were doing instead of branching off into some new things that we learned, and so I thought this is the perfect thing to kind of get us back on track or just be inspired. Alright, so I'm just pulling some of these ideas. I like the big circles. I'm obsessed with the large circles lately, so definitely will see a lot of that in my work because I like the blank space that it creates and the interesting marks that we can then do around it. And so definitely a new phase I'm kind of stuck in, but I don't hate it, so just ride the wave when you're feeling it. Just go with it. I love the orange. Okay, do I want to put the orange up there? I feel like it needs something, but I almost think we got enough of the orange. Could do mark making up there. Could come back and do some mark making with some watercolor. Ooh, let's just do a tiny bit of mark making right in here with some watercolor, and then I'll move into letting that dry. But it's kind of fun to mark make while we go, also with a little bit of watercolor. And I'm just using my Princeton Neptune watercolor set. So this has got this oval wash, and that big one that I was using is the flat wash, I think. Square wash. It's a square wash, but I like it because it holds a lot of water, and I can get some cool mark making by pulling that tight when it's wet. So that's fun. Okay, I almost want to do this mark, but somewhere else in the orange, because I don't know, it's speaking to me now. I love it. So I'm kind of thinking maybe right in here. Why not? Let's just do it. Look at that. Oh, that's what I wanted. Okay, now I feel like we're going to need to let this one dry, so I'll be right back and we'll be ready to mark make. All right, let's keep on going now that that is dry. So we've got pattern play, circular repetition, which I feel like I did. I've got some circles in there. I'm going to add some more circles in there. We need some golden spirals. We need some abstract leaves. I'm feeling really good. So I've got my Arctic's little paint markers that I've become obsessed with lately because they're easy. Kind of thinking black. I need a little black in here. They're easy, and I've got a lot of colors, and so I love these. And I have discovered now, that's the 60-piece anime or manga. Anime or manga. It's one of those. It's not the bright set. And I love all the colors in it, and so it's right up my alley on paint markers, because even though I love the Poscas, these are ready to go now, no pumping it. And I have discovered on the Arctic's website you can get replacement markers. So I love that. I feel like I need, let's see, what do we need? I feel like I need some black. I definitely need some abstract leaves. So we could draw some abstract leaves. That could be one thing that we do. Or we could paint some abstract leaves with like a paint marker. I'm kind of thinking, I really like the abstract looking bean with the line in the middle of it that Klimt does, and that to me looks like a leaf. In a way, it looks like a coffee bean, but I can make it look like a leaf. I could also do a vine with some leaves. I mean, you see how many things we could do here. I could draw some big leaves and then mark make in the leaf. That could be something that we do. I'm just trying to give you some ideas on how you could interpret some of these. I kind of feel like I'm obsessed with filling some of these with marks. Let's just do it. I feel like I need to go there first. And you know what? That could be the leaf. That could totally be the leaf. Okay, now I'm feeling it. We could have done it on a vine, but I'm feeling like the leaf, or it's like a teardrop leaf, but that's okay. It made my heart happy to get the contrast of the black in here. In the leaf shape. So there we go. That's where we're going with this today. Now I kind of want to, let's see, I got to keep going. Where do I want to go? I feel like it needs a little more. So for today, that's my abstract leaf shape. Takes the place of a dot. You know, sometimes you just need that extra little push to get you out of your dot comfort zone. Let's do that over here. So that's why I like that these are brush tip, because they give you a different feel when you're painting with them or drawing with them. Okay, I like that. That was a good choice. So that could also be pattern play. We're going to keep going with some pattern, but that could be a little bit of the pattern play. Feel like we didn't quite get this lovely deep purple, and there are some little bit darker ones. Let's see, that was just the black, number 98. This is the C52. So let's see if this gives us any of the dark, and I feel like I need some lines. So let's go ahead and maybe do some lines in here. Okay, I like that. I also feel like that maybe we can do some dots out here because I feel like I need some more pattern out here. So go where that inspiration takes you, even if you're starting with a prompt. If you're looking at it thinking, ooh, and I need whatever it is, go for it. Nothing, there is no wrong here. Let's come up here with some more lines in this darker color. This is why I like the white space on these little abstracts I've been doing lately, because it gives you the perfect little area to do mark making, and it gives you start and stop areas and ways that, you know, you can add some interest to the piece. Whereas if it's all solid color, you might get hung up on where can I put this, and maybe you don't get hung up on that, but it's another option. Okay, I like that. I feel like this needs to come on down. So I like using the color changes as a visual separator for different things. And I like using white space for some of that. Okay, so we also need some gold. But do we need anything else before we get to the gold? Because I'm going to use the gold in a different thing. So I've got some brown. I think the brown might be nice. See, that's more of an oval than a dot. I love that. That's fun. So, we need something else. I feel it. We need something else. Kind of thinking, I've got some of this Ultimate Black ink from Sketchbox. I think this is an exclusive. It's a Kuretake Ultimate Black ink that I got in one of my Sketchboxes. So it's probably not exclusive to Sketchbox, but that's where it came from. They always introduce me to the most creative stuff, and I like that it's got a tip on it so I can kind of draw with it. And I kind of feel like we are gonna draw some shape. It's not coming out as even as I might have wanted, but we're still getting some fun mark here. Oh, there we go. We're going to take whatever we got out of it. That's fine. So almost kind of want to do it here. Oh, yeah. Maybe I need another spot of that, but I want some gold also, so we'll come back to that. I'm going to use my fine liner. We're going to do some gold spirals. This is the Kuretake gold ink. Just used a pipette to take the ink from one of these into that. And then I like it because it's got the little needle point end, so it keeps this clean. Okay, let's spiral it. Whoa, and I find if I hold it basically parallel to the paper, I get better control of the ink. So if you go straight up and down, you just get like a flood of ink, and this way I can get much better control. And I can get dots and things out of it, some interest there. And you just gotta practice a little bit so that you get that control that you're looking for. Okay, I like that a lot. I feel like I need some gold dots over here, and then I feel like I'll be there. So let's just do that. So if you're not familiar with these little liner bottles, practice on some scrap paper for a bit before you jump onto your piece that's important to you. Ooh, I love that. Okay, let's see. Did we get it all? Let's see. We were looking for pattern play, so I've definitely played with different patterns. You can interpret that however you want. We've got circular repetition, so I've done circle, watercolor, and I've done circle patterns. And we've got dots, which are kind of circles. We've got some golden spirals, which that's a little different than Klimt did his golden spirals, but I still like it. And we've got some abstract kind of leaves that we've got in there, so that's super fun. Once we peel the tape, you know, then we can decide if it's finished. Sometimes you might look at a piece and think, oh, that needs something else. And sometimes peeling the tape allows you to decide that, because you get like a finished look of it. And that's why I like to use the tape. This is cold press paper I'm using. The Arches cold press in this book. Look at that. And even though I didn't put green in it, look how beautiful that flows to that handmade paper side. Some people have asked me if I'm going to do things with the handmade paper, but I think the handmade paper is so beautiful itself, and it's almost a way that you can cheat in your little handmade book and have some elements in there that are cool and finished. But you certainly could continue to add to handmade paper. Maybe you could attach something on top of there. You could draw something if you wanted to, but I love it like it is, and it kind of fits in with my abstract feel. Look how gorgeous this is. And we did very well kind of working in our color palette and working with our Klimt prompts. So this is how I'm going to continue reminding myself of the things that I learned in my master study and prompt my way into some interesting things in my pieces that maybe I wouldn't have done. And I love how these have that pretty shine of that gold. Super fun. All right, I hope you enjoyed painting with me today. Definitely check out the new class. I will link it below the video, and I'll see you guys next time.